Hello, this is another update for Terrablox, a voxel-based virtual tabletop. I'm going to stop calling these weekly updates because on average they've been 1.5 to 2 weeks apart. Uh, this update I've been mostly focused on UI stuff as well as bug fixes for multiplayer thanks to some testing from a user on itch. Uh, so there is kind of the foundational systems for Steam multiplayer. Uh, that version is not out yet. I don't have it's not yet ready for me to send out Steam keys or playtest or anything like that yet, but it is kind of coming along and seems to be working. Um, in the itch version that is available for download, there still are some bug fixes. There were some token settings that could desync across clients. They would revert to the different team. Fog of War could get out of sync, stuff like that. So now there should be bug fixes in there for Fog of War, mounted tokens, all that stuff staying in sync, as well as a bug fix that allowed you to click and drag hidden tokens when you shouldn't be able to. I also made it so that if you set a player nickname in the main menu, that will save into your user options and persist between sessions. Uh, movement controls have been added for tokens. So if I highlight a token, I can then use WSAD to move that token around by steps. That'll be relative to whatever direction your camera is pointed. The way it'll work is it'll just climb up surfaces as long as there's a free path. So if you are inside of a building, here, let me just stick him inside here. If I try to move out, it'll stop at the wall because there's a ceiling in the way. But other than that, it is very loose as to what's allowed, where you're allowed to go. So same as normal movement. This is just kind of between you and your GM whether or not this jump is actually allowed, for instance. If it is a flying token, you can still move around the same way. And if you hold Alt, then Q and E become altitude controls for moving up and down. Because, well, not because of, but along with that, I move the camera controls over to the arrow keys. So arrow keys will move the camera around. That also puts it closer to page up and page down, which were also camera controls. And then in the options, there are more options for inverting. So you can invert X and Y on the mouse, and you can also invert X and Y on the keyboard controls. In the isometric camera, more angles were added. So before it would stick at this angle and you could rotate around, but you can now also pitch up and down, and it has 5 levels that it snaps to. So this is kind of the default isometric angle. You can also go up to a more kind of military isometric or down to a more video gamey isometric, as well as going side view or top down. Over in the turn tracker, uh, the way tokens are shown matches better the way they're shown over in the token list. So it'll show the base color and whether or not they're an observer and whether or not they are unique. And then for each one, you can checkmark whether or not that token or that team actually gets a turn. So by default, they're all unchecked. And then you, as the GM, can go through and checkmark, all right, this person gets a turn, this person gets a turn. You can drag and drop the order. That way, if you're using tokens for things like items or carts and things like that that don't really get turns, you can just exclude them. For dice rolling, there was a bug where multiplication didn't work. So if you tried to do like 2d6 times 3, that just got an error. But that's fixed now. And then in addition to that, nesting is also allowed. So you can do things like 2d6 plus 1 times 3. And nested parentheses should work as expected. Actual UI stuff is now there is customizable colors. So if you go into options, into the colors tab, you can customize and set your own color for, I think, everything in the interface. There's almost surely something I overlooked and didn't think to go in and add, but so let me know. But yeah, the idea is every color for selection and tools and markers and all that kind of stuff, all of that should be customizable. And then there's also this text tab, so you can customize a global text scale as well as individual text scales for different parts of the UI. So tools, chat messages, notifications, all that kind of stuff. There is a first draft of audio. So as you move tokens around, you'll hear a little token movement sound. And block placement also has a little noise for it now. Ah, dang, I thought I had that bug fixed. Why aren't they revealing? All right, I'll have to fix that too. There will be more systems in place for that. There will be a way to set like background ambience, music, as well as place sounds into the scene. If you go in and look at markers, it has this little audio section now, and this will be basically how it works, but there are none of these actually do anything yet. But the idea will be you'll place a marker, assign it an audio file, and then choose how loud it is, what radius it can be heard from, and stuff like that. It's also just general UI polish, so there should be more consistent behavior for the escape key across different contexts now. So you can dismiss dialogue, sidebars, even the options panel. Basically, just whenever you push escape, it kind of gets you closer and closer to just having a blank screen with nothing on it. And then if the screen is blank and you push escape, it'll bring up options. There still might be something I forgot to go in and add that to, but the idea is anything that's on screen should be dismissible with escape. For the library chat and notes panels, you can now resize all of them. Oh, maybe not the library panel. I thought I had that in. Ah, dang. Okay. Well, for the chat panel and for notes, these panels are resizable just to make it easier to align them in a good way on different screen sizes and with different text sizes. Token and stats, this little token name overlay has been just reorganized so that it'll never draw on top of the UI. So it'll go behind dialogues and side panels and things. And then there were a couple bugs related to editing tokens or editing settings that could cause a crash that should be fixed now, as well as a tiny visual bug where rotating or flipping a prop too quickly might leave behind stale shadows. It would kind of lose track of what sections of the map needed updated lighting or not. And then finally, just a small visual tweak is if you go into the Moonside mode, it'll draw lines between areas of different colors. So that if you're, like this scene, using different colors to kind of mean stuff in a flat area, you can still sort of make those out, even in Moonside. All right, and then I think that's it, other than just, various little kind of background bug fixes that are not worth talking about. Um, there is a version of this available for download on itch, so you'll find a link for that in the description, as well as it is now wishlistable on Steam, so please go over there and do that, share that, have a more wish list will really help me out. I am hoping to soon do either a public playtest or maybe just going into early access. Basically, all I'm waiting for there is uh, to do a little bit more testing with Steam multiplayer to make sure there aren't any just totally dumb and obvious problems. So yeah, please, if you can, download this, try it with friends, pop over into the itch comments and let me know if you find any bugs, especially with multiplayer. I think there is some visual stuff going on with AMD graphics cards, it seems like. So if anyone has, so if anyone can do some exploration there, that would really help me out. But yeah, please download it, try it out. If you build cool stuff, please share screenshots or share the copy paste of it so I can see it. I'd love to see what people are making in it, and hope to see you again.